Hi, my name is Maria Walls, and this is the Smeal Career Prep presentation for Penn State York Campus freshmen and sophomores. I have to give you a disclaimer before we go too far. I do have a little bit of a cough, so I might be coughing and taking sips of water throughout. Do not fear, it is not the coronavirus. It is simply a case of fall allergies in Pennsylvania, which I'm sure is something that most of us, if not all of us, deal with to some extent. So, welcome to the presentation. I want to give a little bit of an overview before we get started and kind of outline the purpose for this presentation. It's obviously to give you information on career prep and how to prep to transition to Smeal and everything that entails. But more specifically, when you transition to Smeal and University Park, the Smeal College of Business, you will likely be transitioning right when your junior year starts. And junior year also happens to be a year at Penn State, a year in Smeal, that is very, very important for your career search process because most students in their junior year are looking for a big internship for the following summer before their senior year that they can either leverage into a full-time job offer with that company that they interned with, or they can utilize it to be a strong selling point on their resume to get a full-time job offer with another company. So because junior year internship search is so important, I want to make sure that when you are transitioning to University Park, that during that stressful and at times overwhelming period, that you are at least not stressed about one thing, and that being your career prep process. So today we're going to go through that, and I'm going to give you some tips on how you can make sure that you are as set up for success to transition to Smeal as possible in terms of your career prep process. So the first thing that I wanted to do was obviously introduce myself, but give a little bit more information on how you can access me. So like I said, my name is Maria Walls, and my position at Smeal is the Change of Campus Program Coordinator within the Smeal Business Career Center. So my role essentially is focused on helping students at the Commonwealth campuses transition to Smeal in the 2+2 program and make sure that you guys are as set up for success as possible. So if you ever have any questions about the career search process, career prep at Smeal, any Smeal related questions, I would be happy to answer them for you, or at least give you the information that you can utilize to get your questions answered. So you are welcome to utilize me as a resource while you are at the York campus, and further when you decide to transition to Smeal. I'm a resource for you from now until you graduate and beyond if you need anything else. So there's a few different ways that you can contact me. First is by email. My email address is on the slide, and feel free to email at any time if you have any questions that you'd like answered or need thoughts on something. I'm also available for appointments. So while you are at the York campus, I can meet with you virtually over Zoom. And then when you transition, I'm happy to meet with you in person as well. My office is in 114 Business Building at the University Park campus. You can't miss it. It's right in the direct entrance of the building. And hopefully we'll be able to meet in person at some point. Lastly, we also have drop-in appointments today. So those will be immediately after this presentation from 1 to 2. I'm going to be in the drop-in link. Feel free to come in if you have any quick questions, would like to discuss anything, need any opinions, etc. Moral of the story, I am here for you as a resource. Please utilize me if you need to. All right, so getting into the agenda of our presentation, like I said, we're talking about everything Smeal Career Prep related, but more specifically, everything that I'm going to be discussing can fall under one of two umbrellas. So either key career resources or maximizing your first and second years. So we're going to be going over both topics and getting into some foundational information that you can utilize as you start to prepare for that career transition. All right, so first and foremost, we're going to go through some key career resources. So at your York campus currently, you have a great office that you can utilize for everything career search related. That is the Advising and Career Development Office. It is located at 134A of the main classroom building. And here's the contact information that you can utilize if you would like to reach out to them. I definitely recommend meeting with them at least once, and ideally as often as you want while you are at the York campus. They're a great office that you can utilize to talk about anything anything career coaching related, anything about events coming up, how to set yourself up for success. So please know that in addition to my office in Smeal, that you also have a current career resource at the York campus. So talking more specifically under the umbrella of what I know are the University Park career resources. So there are two main offices at University Park that are here for you to utilize. First is the Business Career Center, the office that I work in, and second is the Penn State Career Services office. So talking about the Business Career Center first, we are the Career Services Center that's specifically for College of Business students at University Park. That being said, like I said to you before, my role specifically works with students at the Commonwealth campuses as well. So while the BCC is more Smeal student specific, we also serve students at the Commonwealth campuses. So again, please feel free to utilize us. And like I mentioned before, we are located in 114 Business Building. So the Business Career Center would be a great resource for you for anything business career related. Our expertise is definitely within the business field and business tracks. So if you are a student that is planning on majoring in business, you know that's what you want to do, you're done with the exploration process, then feel free to utilize our resources. Then we have the Penn State Career Services office in the Bank of America building at University Park. We commonly refer to it as the Bank of America Career Services, or BOA. So BCC is Smeal, and then BOA is our General Career Services. And this would be a great office for you to utilize if perhaps your interests lie somewhat outside of the College of Business and business tracks. So maybe you are planning in double majoring and your second major is outside the College of Business. Maybe you're planning on picking up a minor that's outside of the business world. Or maybe you're planning on majoring in a career in business, but you're not necessarily looking for business jobs and you're kind of thinking outside of the box of ways that you can utilize that degree. BOA would be a great resource for you to talk to because since they service all University Park students, that means that they work with all majors, they work with all colleges, all career paths. So they would have great information for you if you're looking for stuff outside of the business world. So I want to give you more information about the Business Career Center and everything that is available to you to utilize, because I'm assuming that most of you are not only business students, but are also looking towards careers in the business field. So there are three main missions that we have within the BCC. The first is career coaching. So we are available to meet with students in one-on-one appointments in any and all topics related to the career search process. So we meet with students one-on-one and help them to develop their professional skills, practice their professional skills, and give them advice on the career search process. Second, we also work under the umbrella of employer connections. So I like to think of us as kind of the middleman between the employers and the companies and the recruiters and our students. So we are here to connect students with companies and recruiters who would like to hire Penn State business students and kind of facilitate ways in which they can do that. And then lastly, we also hold professional development events. So the BCC has a lot of different programming efforts that we put on. We have a lot of workshops that we do on career topics. We have workshops and information sessions that our companies like to hold, whether it be workshops about career topics sponsored by them, or information sessions about internships and job opportunities at their companies. And then lastly, we also have career fairs, which are big professional development events. Excuse me. So going a little bit more specific about career coaching topics, I wanted to outline some different things that students could talk to us about, because a lot of times students will reach out and they'll say, you know, I want to ask you a question or two, but I'm not sure if this is what you do. Or they'll reach out and they'll ask, you know, what is it that I can discuss with you? And the answer is anything and everything related to the career search process. So we are available to meet with students about resumes, cover letters, how to conduct a successful job and internship search, something even as simple as how to write a thank you note or how to email an employer with a question. We help students navigate job or internship offers and how to choose the right one. Excuse me. So again, anything and everything related to the career search process, we are available to talk about with you and kind of help you to develop those skills and make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. So another resource that I wanted to point out to you within the Smeal Business Career Center is our website. This is going to be one of the biggest resources that you can utilize before you transition to Smeal and are able to access all of our different in-person resources. So our website has a lot of great information. First and foremost, we have all of our information on our events. So that would be, again, like I said, any career topic presentations or workshops, any employer programs, and our career fairs. So if you go onto our website and you could check out the events page, you can see all of the events that are coming up, who's hosting them, more information on them, and also links to RSVP. I do want to point out with that as well that at least for the rest of the academic year, it seems like most of our programming efforts are going to be virtual. And a great benefit of that for you is that while you are still at the York campus, you have access for the rest of the year for all of the programs that we put on. So despite the fact that you are not a Smeal student, you are more than welcome to access any of our presentations, programs, and definitely come to our career fairs. So silver lining of this awful pandemic situation that we are in, definitely make sure to take advantage of our events. We also have a lot of great online resources that you can utilize. We have tips, handouts, videos on stuff like cover letters, creating a resume, how to practice for an interview. So definitely check that information out as well. We have some great information on hiring statistics, so you can check out, what is the typical starting salary per major, what percentage of students per major are hired upon graduation. We also have a great internship database that you can check out. Maybe you are an accounting student and you are looking towards a summer internship in the future with Deloitte. You can check out our internship database and see how many students typically get hired with Deloitte, what their salaries are, who their supervisors are, what they are typically doing. So a lot of great statistics that I would definitely recommend you checking out. And then we have a great page on career options for your major. So, for example, maybe you are an accounting student, but you're not sure what type of accounting you're looking to do, and therefore don't know what internships to apply for. Definitely check that information out as well. Lastly, we have information on Smeal student organizations that you could join when you transition to University Park. And then we also have a link to Nittany Lion Careers, which I'm going to talk about here in the next slide. So Nittany Lion Careers is one of the most important things that you need to know about as a student, as somebody who is aspiring to a business career. Nittany Lion Careers is essentially your one-stop shop for searching for jobs and applying to jobs as a business student. So that being said, I want to point out that every job in the world conceivably is not included on Nittany Lion Careers. So it's not the only resource that you should be utilizing, but Nittany Lion Careers is great because the jobs that are on there for you to search and apply for are jobs with companies who specifically want to hire Penn State students. So some examples of that would be KPMG, Deloitte, EY, PNC, Dick's Sporting Goods, Kohl's. There are a lot of companies who specifically want to hire Penn State business students, and for that reason, they send us their jobs that are available. They ask us to post them on the website, and then you can search for them and apply for them directly through this website. So for that reason, Nittany Lion Careers is awesome. And I would definitely recommend that when it's time for you to start looking for internships and full-time jobs, that you utilize this platform. In addition to the job search function, you can also use Nittany Lion Careers to sign up for on-campus interviews when we have them, which outside of this year, we typically do. And then you can also RSVP and find information on events through Nittany Lion Careers. Maybe you RSVP'd for this presentation through NLC, so you've already used that function at least. And then lastly, you can also schedule a career appointment, a career coaching appointment with the BCC or BOA. So if you ever decide that you want to meet with me virtually or in person, you would schedule that through Nittany Lion Careers. So again, can't recommend this platform enough. It has a lot of functions. All of them are important. So even before it's time for you to really start using the different functions, I'd recommend logging in, updating your profile, and just checking everything out so that you know how to navigate it and you're ready to go when it's time for you to start doing these things. All right, so that is all of the information that I have on key career resources. It's mostly foundational information, but I just wanted to point everything out to you so you know what is available to you and you have that stepping stone to start utilizing these resources when you feel like it's applicable for you. And again, I'd recommend meeting with your York campus. Definitely meet with me if you would like to talk about anything related to your transition or otherwise. And now we will get into how to maximize your first and second years. So again, because your transition to Smeal and University Park might be a little bit overwhelming at times, I want to make sure that career prep and the career search process is something that you have down, it's not stressful for you, and you know exactly what to do when you transition to Smeal. And in order for you to feel confident in your career search abilities, you need to start practicing and working on these things now. So I'm going to give you 5 steps that I recommend that you do within your first 2 years at York before you transition to Smeal to set yourself up for success. All right, so step number 1 is get involved at your campus and in your local community. So this one is basically a no-brainer, but I at least want to give you some information and some tips and perspective. And, you know, at the end of the day, what you are looking for is a full-time job offer. That is the point of a career search process. And in order to get a full-time job offer or an internship offer or part-time, you know, whatever the case may be, any job offer, you need to ace an interview. You need to do well in an interview that convinces somebody that they should hire you. And in order to get an interview, you need to have a strong resume that knocks somebody's socks off and makes them say to themselves, I want to talk to this person more. And in order to have a strong resume, it needs to be filled with great experiences and great skill sets, you know, that make somebody want to take a second look. So getting involved at your campus and in your local community is a great way that you can strengthen that resume and get yourself set up for success foundationally in the job search process. So as you are filling your resume and trying to get involved, it's important for you to be choosing meaningful experiences. So I put some examples on this slide of different ways that you can bolster your resume. By no means is this an exhaustive list, but this is just the kind of stuff that we typically see on a resume of a student at Penn State, kind of in the business field. And also don't feel either like you need to check every single box on this list. When I was a Penn State undergraduate, I was involved in student organizations. I almost always had a part-time job. I was able to do study abroad and some volunteer work, but athletics were not for me, not very coordinated. I wasn't able to do any case competitions or leadership programs, and that's okay. At the end of the day, as many boxes as you can check would be awesome, but just focus on the things that you want to get involved in and try and do as much as you can within reason, because everybody has different financial restraints, time restraints, health restraints, etc. So as you are, you know, choosing your meaningful experiences and trying to figure out what you want to get involved in, it's also important to be thinking about the skills that you want to develop, because you could be involved in 5 different experiences and have them all be totally different. But if the only skill set you're developing is leadership or maybe teamwork, then your resume isn't as strong as it could be. So in addition to trying to get involved in a lot of different things, make sure you're also developing different skill sets. So again, this is by no means an exhaustive list. These are some examples of skills that are desired by employers. So as many of these as you can hit is awesome, but you should also be keeping in mind that you want to develop skill sets based on your major and your career path. So for example, a student who's in a finance major might be looking towards strengthening their leadership skills, their teamwork skills, communication, problem-solving skills. And then a student who's looking towards management information systems might be working on their analytical skills, computer skills, organizational skills, etc. So, you know, make sure that when you are developing your skill sets and getting involved in things, that you are trying to get involved in ways that you deem exciting and that you're passionate about, but also skill sets that are relevant for the field that you will be applying towards. All right, so in addition to getting involved at your York campus, it's also important to make a plan to get involved at University Park. This is a step that I'd maybe recommend focusing on this semester before you transition to UP. So just to make sure that it's relevant and all the information you're finding online is relevant, But as you plan to get involved at University Park, I suppose there's two routes you could go towards. You could say to yourself, you know what, I loved my experiences at York. I love the clubs that I was involved in. I'm going to find clubs that are similar to that at University Park so I can keep everything consistent across the 4 years. If that's the route that you decide to go down, that's awesome. Or maybe you're a student that's saying, I'm really enjoying my experiences at York, but when I get to UP, I want to have a brand new experience and I'm going to get involved in some things that I wasn't doing before. If that's the route you'd like to take, that's awesome as well. At the end of the day, as long as you are getting involved in something and as long as you are building those meaningful skill sets, whatever you decide to do is great for you. So within, your planning process, I just wanted to point out some different resources that you should be looking towards. And I'm going to talk specifically about student jobs and student organizations, just because those are the big two, I'd say, that students need to make plans for. So student organizations, there are a lot that you can get involved in at the main campus. So we have general student orgs, and that could involve any sport or dance clubs, any honor societies, multicultural, media publication, the list goes on. We have over 1,000 general student organizations at Penn State, which is crazy to me. Every time I think about that number, I can hardly believe it, but there really is something for everybody. So, consider getting involved in some general student organizations, maybe something that you're passionate about or something that, you think would be fun and exciting, a way for you to make connections, make friends, develop your skill sets. And then I'd also recommend taking a look at our Smeal student organizations. So we currently have around 40 registered student organizations within the College of Business itself. Those could be business fraternities, service-oriented, diversity, major-related, general interest, but there are a lot of options for you. And although there are only 40, that's still, relatively speaking, a lot. So there's definitely something for everybody. As you are looking towards getting involved in student orgs at the main campus, one rule of thumb I like to give students transitioning is if you can get involved in a Smeal specific student org and a general student organization, then you'll be in good shape because you're able to demonstrate on your resume that you are looking towards getting involved in things that are, bettering your future career, but you also have a social and a fun side too, and you want to get involved in maybe things like Thon, any volunteering organizations, any passion projects, etc. So I also wanted to provide some perspective on student jobs. Like I said before, I was a student who needed to put myself through school financially, so I almost always had at least one or maybe even two part-time jobs, depending on the semester. So as you are planning your involvement at University Park, I would say look into student jobs if this is something you want to add to your resume or something you need for a financial reason. There are a lot of student jobs that are available to you. There are jobs on campus, on the University Park campus that you can take a look at. And there are also a lot of part-time jobs within the State College area and community that are available to you. As you're planning out your involvement in this, you should also be thinking about the type of position and type of experience you want to be getting. And then down at the bottom, I included some different links. So if you would like access to these links through the PowerPoint, please feel free to send me an email. I'm more than happy to send this PowerPoint over to you so that you have more direct access to these links. Otherwise, feel free to take a picture or a screenshot so you can bookmark it for later. But when I was a student, which was not too long ago, I had a lot of success looking at these different websites in order to find some great student jobs on campus. So as you're planning your involvement, I would say start with these resources, and I think you'll be in good shape. All right, so step number 3 for maximizing your first and second years would be to create a Smeal resume. So we in the Smeal College of Business, specifically in the Business Career Center, have a Smeal resume format that we recommend that our Smeal students adapt and use when they create a resume. You can see an example here on the left in the green box. Just to give you some background, the reason we call this our Smeal format and the reason we recommend it is because this format has been created based off the feedback from employers who typically recruit our Smeal students. So over the years, we've gotten a lot of feedback from our employers related to things they like to see on a resume, things they don't like to see, what makes them more likely to put it in the yes or the no pile when they're reviewing applications. We've taken all of that feedback and we've created this resume format, and we've gotten great feedback in return from companies saying that they really like this format. And the reason that we like it and the reason they like it is because you can tell when you look at this example that it's a very clean resume. All of the information that's similar is in the same places, so it's all very it's easily identifiable. It makes the most of the page, so it's clean, but at the same time, there's a lot on it, because at the end of the day, a resume, ideally, when you're a student, should only be 1 page long. So if you're able to get as much on the page as possible without making it look smushed or overwhelming, then you're in great shape. So again, this is the resume format that we recommend students have. If you're able to make one, that's awesome. That being said, if you are confident in the resume you currently have and it's not in this format, that's totally fine as well. You know, at the end of the day, your resume is essentially you in written form, and you need to be proud of that in one way or another. So if you like your resume as is and are confident in it and have had it reviewed, then by all means keep it. But if you're looking for a new format, or you're looking for an easy thing to do to maybe get your resume in the eyes of somebody and have a good impression, then by all means adopt this format. So if you are interested in creating a resume in this format, we have some different resources for you that you can find on our website. We have a resume packet with samples you can take a look at to get some ideas on how to write your bullet points. We have this downloadable format, so you can just download it and plug all of your information in. And then we have some tips and videos, handouts on how to create the resume and just make sure it's strong and successful. In addition, if you would like to have your resume reviewed, whether it's in the Smeal format or not, doesn't matter. Feel free to reach out to the York Career Services Office, the Penn State Career Services Office in the Bank of America building, and my office, the Smeal BCC. All right, so step number 4 is sign up for BA 297, a 1-credit course. So this course is only 1 credit, and it's career planning and strategies. So everything that you learn about in the course is related to giving you foundational information related to the career search process that you need in order to be successful. So some examples of weekly lectures and topics for this class you can find here in the blue box on the left. In this class, we go over career fair prep, we go over resumes and cover letters, how to search for jobs, how to network, how to interview, how to build your brand. Basically anything and everything related to the career search process, we go over on a foundational level in this class. So if you feel like you need that extra helping hand to develop these different documents and develop these career search skill sets, I'd very much recommend taking this class. It's only 1 credit. It is an elective. It's offered in the fall and the spring, and it's also offered to students at the Commonwealth campuses and students at University Park. So you can take it now as a York campus student. It's offered virtually every semester, and we have a section that's specifically for 1st and 2nd year Commonwealth campus students. And then if you decide to transition to Smeal and you would like to take it in person at University Park, you're welcome to do it then as well. If you do decide to take the section for Commonwealth campus students that's online, it's asynchronous, meaning that there are no live meeting times. There are obviously deadlines you need to adhere to, but other than that, you don't need to log on at a certain time for a lecture. You can do everything at your own pace. So there's a nice benefit to taking the online section for that reason. So the weekly lectures are either taught by career coaches in the Business Career Center or by corporate partners who typically hire Penn State business students. So the nice part about this class is that you're able to get the perspective from both career services professionals and potential employers that might be hiring you for jobs and internships in the future. There are a lot of hands-on and reflective assignments. Like I said, in this class, you're required to submit a resume for review, a cover letter for review. You're required to do a mock interview, do a practice elevator pitch. So it's a great way to practice all of these different things and get that feedback. So if you are interested in registering for the online section, please feel free to reach out to me. In the next few weeks, I'm going to start registering students for the spring section of the online class. And then, like I said, if you are looking forward to taking it in person at University Park, you are welcome to wait and do it as well. All right, so my last step in maximizing your first and second years is attend a career fair. So there are 4 main reasons to attend a career fair before your junior year, before you decide to transition to Smeal. So we're going to go over all of those. So the first one is to discover potential opportunities. So career fairs are great places to get information. If you go with the main goal of information, then that is totally fine. You don't necessarily need to be actively applying to jobs to go to a career fair. Gaining information is also a great way to utilize the fairs. So information could be on what types of job opportunities are available to you, different internships you can apply to. You can go to a career fair and get a sense of who typically hires at Penn State, whether at the York campus or at Smeal. And then another way to get information at the career fairs is just by asking questions like, how can I set myself up for success to be a strong candidate when I do apply to your internship program? What types of skills are you looking for candidates to have when they do apply? So definitely, discover potential opportunities and learn how to become a highly qualified candidate through information gathering at the career fairs. The next thing is networking. So building and maintaining professional relationships is something that is very important to do at career fairs. One thing that I've noticed at Penn State is that, we'll have a company like Dick's Sporting Goods who comes to the career fair year after year. And they like for their Penn State grads to man their career fair booth. And those Penn State grads typically, stay at the career fair year after year. So if you're able to go to these career fairs multiple years in a row, more often than not, you will be talking to the same people. You'll be able to network, build those relationships, and that might even help you when it's time for you to apply to something. So let's say you've talked to Brad at the Dick's Sporting Goods career fair 2 years in a row. It's finally time for you to apply to the internship program at Dick's. You can send Brad an email and say, I've really enjoyed getting to know you the past few years at this fair. I decided to submit an application. I'm really excited to see how it goes. Please let me know if you have any questions for me. Brad, because he's seen you at the career fairs multiple years, he knows how excited you are, he's heard about your experiences, he might and probably will be more likely to push you along in the job search process. So definitely, in addition to information gathering, use career fairs as an opportunity to network. And then lastly, it's also great to attend career fairs before you really need to, because it helps you to familiarize yourself with the environment. Career fairs can be intimidating. For some students, they can be very overwhelming. When I was a student, I was often very nervous to talk to people at career fairs. So I would definitely recommend going, getting yourself comfortable with the environment, getting yourself comfortable with giving an elevator pitch, talking about yourself, talking about your experiences. Because as comfortable as you can get with the environment, the better, because then when it's time for you to really perform, to have those conversations about internships and jobs you're applying for, you will be comfortable, you'll be natural, you'll be yourself. And that's one of the best things that you can do at career fairs is be yourself, because then your personality shines through and, it's helpful for you when you're applying to the positions. So for all of these reasons, I definitely recommend attending a career fair. All right, so that is all of the information about, how to become a highly qualified Smeal student when it comes to the career search process. And I just wanted to wrap up by saying my overall advice as related to the career search process, which is just to do your best. Interviewing, creating a resume, networking, all of these things are not innate skills. They are skills that we have to learn. They are skills that we have to practice. So, the key to success with all of this is just to practice these skills, do as much as you can to set yourself up for success. And that's really all you can ask of yourself. So utilize your career resources at the York campus, utilize the career resources at University Park, complete as many of these steps as you think are applicable to you, and reach out if you need anything. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. You can also come to the drop-in hours, which are starting at 1, and I probably will just head over there in a few minutes since we did wrap up a little bit early. So put any questions in the chat, come to drop-in hours, schedule an appointment, send an email. Whatever you need to do, please know that I'm a resource that is available to you from now until whenever you need me. So thank you for coming. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Hope you're all having a great semester and staying safe, healthy, and happy wherever you are. And I look forward to hopefully one day meeting you in person at Smeal. Thank you.